Hello. Even though the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer reaction didn't get very many views, welcome back to another comic nerd reacts. I think that's what I'm gonna call this series. Music stuff, wannabe rapper reacts. For this games, movies, etc., I'm gonna call it Comic Nerd Reacts. So, welcome to Comic Nerd Reacts. Today we're reacting to something different. It's gonna be a bit of a long one, so I would say stay ready. This might be a bit of a skip through situation. We'll see in the end. But we're going to be reacting to the Marvel Midnight Suns, the Hunter and Wolverine versus Sabretooth gameplay full presentation. If you're not aware, Midnight Suns is a game coming out by Marvel, obviously. And I'm very interested in it. I didn't do reactions to the trailers or anything because I didn't feel like people would, care too much, if that makes sense. But I'm very excited for this game, so and other games coming out. So if you guys have any requests for other games you want me to do, throw it in the comments. So honestly, I might stream this game when it comes out. So once again, this might be a situation where I have to skip through
Hi
some
everyone, and welcome
bits.
to our first gameplay live stream of Marvel's Midnight Suns. My name is Caroline Guevara, producer and your host for this.
We saw both a reveal trailer and a gameplay trailer, and it looks really fucking good. And there's 3 characters we don't know about yet, so I'm hoping very hard for Darkhawk, but we'll see what happens.
Today, I am joined by 2 very special guests.
Hi.
Jake Solomon, our creative director.
Very happy to be here. Very happy to.
I'm not sponsored by this, by the way, so don't.
Finally play the game.
Of course. And of course, Garth Angeles, our franchise producer.
Thank
Hello.
you so much. Happy to be here as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you haven't followed us on social media yet, please
Follow
do
them.
so on Twitter and Instagram. Again, that is Marvel's Midnight Suns. Give us a follow so you can be up to date for the latest and greatest. And also, if you want a very exclusive skin for Blade, our Night Stalker skin, definitely sign up for our newsletter.
It's a dope skin. I've already signed up for the newsletter.
Into some pretty incredible stuff, Jake.
Oh,
It's been a while, and on behalf of the team, before we do dive in, watching the trailer, watching the gameplay assets that came out, it's been incredibly invigorating for the team to see the reaction from the community. It really does energize us.
Yeah.
We're going to be finishing the game and seeing
I'm very excited for this game, so
your guys' love and excitement for what's to come. The team really appreciates, so thank you all. We've also been listening to your feedback already, very important to us.
Yep.
And one piece we definitely wanted to touch on was the fact that this game is a premium title, an enormous single-player game that is brimming with content, and we're not going to have gameplay microtransactions.
right.
No. I understand why people would think that, but no.
No microtransactions. Besides, there's gonna be cosmetic skins, is what they said, but not microtransactions. So
Every ability that your heroes can have, they're in the game. You only earn them by playing with the heroes you love. There are no
Yes.
microtransactions. So, put that
especially if I get Darkhawk laser beams and claws and fucking flying, and it's gonna be great. I want Darkhawk or Moon Knight. I shouldn't be putting my hand on that, shouldn't I? Anyway, I want Darkhawk or Moon Knight or both.
the rest. Put that to rest. Let's just play the game.
Let's get
Let's
into
go.
this
Let's play, guys.
glorious world.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Jake,
Not very based.
you and I used to play another game.
I like it.
Alpha gameplay. Keep that in mind. This is alpha gameplay and it's on
Yeah.
PC.
And we're not quite in Kansas anymore, are we? This looks,
No.
this looks a little bit different.
So, you're in control of the Hunter, moving her in real time there. You're at the Abbey, which is an entirely new superhero headquarters that we created with Marvel. Every cool superhero team has to have a cool superhero headquarters. This is ours. We're just
Right.
showing the exterior. We're going to show more of the Abbey at the end of this mission. Today, we're really
Okay, some things I'm noticing here. Obviously, up here we have crafting or something of that nature with this item bench. We have objective to speak to Ghost Rider, Robbie Ray's right there, so there's going to be, those interactions. This is also important. They have the day, the day of the week, and, the weather. So I don't know how that's going to come into play, but those are both things. Those are things I'm
show off
noticing.
combat. So we've got a couple of our squad mates here. We're going to head into combat. This is our Hunter. We've talked about how customizable they are.
Right.
They can look very different from this. We're walking by one of the other characters on the team, Magic, my personal favorite character in the Midnight Suns.
It also was incredibly important to us and the team to have a base that reflected something like we all knew and loved when we were kids with Marvel.
Right.
The Avengers Tower, X-Men and the X-Mansion. Now having your own base is such a staple that I think you need to do in a Marvel game. It's something that hasn't been done before. You now have your own.
Yes,
Right.
and ours, that's a big part of the game, is how it comes alive, how you live with these heroes, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And so now what we've done is crossed over
I like this like dark dimension looking place. It's nice looking. It's very creepy.
into this sort of interdimensional space we call Limbo. So magic opens portals, you walk through Limbo, and you get to your next mission. And that's kind of one of her powers, and she can display this stuff in combat as well.
Awesome. So we're gonna just dive right into combat then.
Yes.
All right,
We're gonna play
let's
some
do it.
combat.
We are going to play some combat, and again, you know, we are a tactics team through and through.
Yeah, they make XCOM if you were not aware. So, something I'm noticing here, so like, it seems like instead, like you're going to be switching between the three of them, like during combat, basically. You see it says 3 card plays, 1 move, 2 redraws, 1 item. So, and then all the cards for each of the characters are right here, and it's not like turn-based for you anyway. You have to make moves for all 3 of your characters. Okay, that's gonna be interesting.
I'm so proud of the designers we have here and the folks that work with Jake and the creative systems designers, but we've made something that you have not quite seen when it comes to a tactics game. There's so much when it comes to the visual element of this, characters and how they're going to move and the superhero flair that you're going to see. But first, we wanted to slow down before we start playing this thing fast.
Let's
Talk about what the mechanics are about,
the abilities, right? Because, as you may have heard, the hero's abilities, they're
Also, it's kind of hard to see right now, but down here, it says attack and skill. So those are going to be like, I think those are the 2 types of cards.
dealt to you at the start of combat, and like a hand of cards. Which
cards?
Yeah.
A timeless game mechanic, by the way, right,
Right.
Jake?
What could be controversial about cards? Nothing, I assume. However, in case it is, I would understand why people say, oh, what? That's very different from anything we've done before. It doesn't actually, I want to make sure that people understand it doesn't play that different than things we've done before.
Right.
But as Garth is playing, I'm going to explain how this whole system works. And the idea is that every character has their own abilities that the player is in charge of. So they can assign whatever abilities they want to Blade, to Doctor Strange, to the Hunter. They bring all those abilities into combat, and there aren't that many of them, so you're going to see all those abilities come up. But they're dealt to you as a hand of cards.
And there's some really cool card categories too, right?
And the animations
Yes.
are slick.
So there's 3 different types of abilities that are really important. There's an attack, which Garth is there. One of the benefits of abilities, treating them as a card.
This one over here, the Axe of Angaroon, I think is how that will be pronounced, is a heroic, and I think that's going to be the big, like, flashy finishers.
You can put like really interesting effects on them. So we have tons of them. It's another benefit. You can make so many different abilities. We can give them interesting effects. One is an attack, which Garth showed off there, with Blade. The next is a skill, which he just used with Doctor Strange.
Yep.
And that is the sort of thing that is a little more, could buff your allies, could be defensive. There are different ways to use it. But ultimately, the important thing is that by playing attacks, by playing skills, you're building up a resource that we call heroism. You can see this in the bottom right. That's,
What's that?
yeah, it's a simple, the game all rotates around heroism, right? And so you build up heroism, and you use that to then use the 3rd type of ability, which is called Everwall.
They're your most powerful attacks. They can have devastating impacts on the enemies, and that's what we're working towards right here. Now, I have a few other plays. Before I use Doctor Strange's heroic, I'm going to use one of the Hunter's attacks to build up more heroism, which will make the heroic stronger.
Yeah, I can see that. It says
So
that.
right now, the Hunter's in a great position to fire off this ability.
Ooh.
Yeah, knock an enemy into another enemy. But you can also discreetly move your characters around the battlefield, and you don't have to be able to use different abilities or different effects.
Fuck that guy in
So-
particular.
Yeah. Oh no, you're fine. I was gonna say, like, it seems like you have a lot of flexibility and freedom how you choose to play, like, with your heroes.
Yeah, you do. I mean, the idea is that the game is meant to move pretty fast. It's still very deep.
Slamp.
I love that villain.
That right.
Okay, so it's not the big
KO'd
flashy finisher. Okay, interesting.
that person. By the way, he buried an axe in their head, and then they just knocked it.
It's okay.
Knocked out. Right? This is-
Yeah, fine.
But also, I mean, you saw that heroic ability. Our team and our content team and all the disciplines that have worked on it, they have created these abilities that are in your face, incredibly satisfying to watch over and over, and the payoff.
Yeah, they've really pushed the presentation of the abilities, and it's amazing to see. There are a lot of deep elements to combat here, and part of that is how different the heroes play. So we have a number of different abilities here, and in fact, actually, Garth, you can talk about what you're going to do here.
Yeah, we're going to use a special skill from the Hunter, which is going to chain on and allow us to use a very, very powerful card in our deck. So Inspire allows you to play heroic, or a card that costs heroism for free. So that's what we're going to do with Hunter, and that's going to lead into this powerful ability.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
Wait.
the hero combo
Also, heroism for free. So that's what we're going to do with Hunter.
This right here. Is it just me? Maybe it's just me. But that looks like Phoenix. Not the same, obviously. It doesn't have the typical orangey red glow to it, but like the actual shape of it. Maybe it's just coincidental, but it looks very Phoenix-like. I don't know if that's going to come up anywhere, but considering the X-Men are part of this game, maybe that'll be something that we see.
And that's going to lead into this powerful ability.
Yeah, and so the hero combo, again, a big attack. The way that you unlock these abilities is actually through the Abbey. So we talk about
By playing with your superhero buddies.
how the relationships that you have with these heroes. And this,
Wow.
very awesome and very powerful. You unlock these super powerful effects by forming a relationship with the heroes involved.
Last man standing.
Oh, here we go.
Gotta go with Blade.
I mean, of course.
So,
Nice.
again,
He
that's
did.
an encounter. You know, they play very, very fast.
Why is it that for every one of these sites we take out, it seems like two more appear in their place?
Patience. Hydra certainly lives up to their name.
I've hunted an actual Hydra. That was easier.
Easier than this. I live up to my name.
The big man, he is here. Here comes the boy, Sabretooth.
Two.
Second best there is at what he does. They have splash screens like fucking Borderlands. Not the same, obviously, but similar.
Hell of a price Crossbones put on your head.
Ooh. Confirmed Crossbones is going to be somewhere in this game. At least, probably more than just this mention. Runt. And yeah, Sabretooth is a mercenary in the comic, so it wouldn't surprise me too much if that he's doing this.
And he never said it had to stay attached to your body. Well, too bad for you. Big words. For a dead man.
There, Steve Bloom, the best there is at what he does. Steve Bloom is the best Wolverine voice actor. I have to specify.
You got one thing right today, Sabretooth. Heads are definitely about to roll.
Oh, look. Another mangy stray.
You smell wrong.
You smell like a baka.
Go pick
No, I'm sorry. Don't kill me.
there to him.
Good point.
Oh, you gotta have your ads. Gotta have your jobbers.
Now I get to kill two runts with one claw. Maybe I should be paying Hydra.
Hey guys, I would be lying if I would say I'm not excited about this very iconic duo, this battle between Sabretooth and Wolverine.
Yeah, and as you saw there, just one of the cinematics. We have hours of cinematics in the game. Obviously, we're telling a very deep story.
Yeah.
And part of that story, of course, is introducing these villains. This is the first villain we've shown, but we have a large cast of characters. Not
It's one of those things that'll like when the rumors of the Marvel fighting game from NetherRealm was going around. People were saying that they can't really have a large list of villains because a lot of villains in Marvel are like, heavy hitters, Doctor Doom, Galactus, Apocalypse, Thanos. You know, there's not a lot of like jobber villains, but you have characters like Sabretooth. You have like hell, even Green Goblin can be kind of jobberish at times. You know, so you know, I wonder what the and Crossbones is another perfect example of a character that you can use, and he can be considered mostly like a jobber-esque character that can be used in the story mode as a villain without having to like worry about, oh, is he too big of a threat? You know, so
Just heroes. We got, again, as I said, 12 Marvel heroes plus the Hunter. We also have a large cast of villains for the player though.
yeah, there's 13 heroes. I think is the confirmed number.
We got, again, as I said, 12 Marvel heroes plus the
12 Marvel heroes plus the Hunter.
Hunter. We also have a large cast of villains for the player to fight against.
And there's 10 heroes revealed so far. I think that includes the Hunter. So there's 3 more heroes on the way.
What makes Lilith so powerful? So again, she's the ultimate enemy. The thing that's cool about her, if you imagine the most dangerous people in the Marvel Universe, she's equally dangerous because she can corrupt people with a single touch. So not only you fight villains like Sabretooth here, but you'll fight what we call Fallen, where Lilith has corrupted villains. She's corrupted even heroes that the player's gonna have to fight against.
Very interesting. That can have a lot of interesting repercussions
over the course of the game. So yeah, very deep narrative. A lot of narrative comes out, not just through cinematics, but also you'll experience in-game as well. And now we're fighting against Sabretooth, and yes, you're right, this is an iconic matchup, right? Wolvie, the best at what he does, Sabretooth, kind of good at what he does.
Kind of good. He's okay. He's okay at what he does.
He's deadly. Like, Sabretooth is a very deadly character, and so you're going to have to require your entire team to take him out. All of our villains have a bunch of unique abilities, and also a unique flair to them. Sabretooth, the idea behind Sabretooth is that he has an ability called Frenzy, and that means that every time you take an action, he may respond, right? So you have to be really careful.
Just fucking drop a whole ass light pole on him.
You have to be very efficient in what you do because Sabretooth responds very quickly. So you can take 2 actions, then he's going to fight back.
So you have to like anticipate what
Take this.
when he goes on that frenzy.
Was that a...
Yes, like for now, what you do.
Was that just a fucking... Yeah, this is just a stack of... Just toss a fucking stack of newspapers at his head.
Sabretooth responds very.
I'm honestly surprised Spider-Man isn't in the game so far. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if he comes out as like PS4 exclusive DLC like Avengers.
So you can take 2 actions, then he's going to fight back.
I wonder if they're gonna do DLC.
When he goes on that frenzy, kind of.
Yes, like for now. But yeah, I mean, I love Sabretooth. We've introduced, here we're introducing Wolverine for the first time. This is where you meet him. This is pretty far into the game, probably. I mean, actually, this game's very long, so not that far, but this is a good 10, 12 hours into the game. When you meet Wolverine. And
10 to 12 hours before you meet Wolverine, that's interesting.
You unlock him. So there are characters you unlock through play. This is the moment when you sort of meet Wolverine for the first time. And so, again, Wolverine, a completely different playstyle, completely unique set of abilities.
Can you go into his abilities a little bit more? Like, what makes him so...
Okay, I'm back. Okay, back to this.
Abilities.
Can you go into his abilities a little bit more? Like, what makes him so unique and different from the other characters?
Yeah, so if you think about Wolverine, he's very savage. He has the ability to attack multiple targets. So he has what we call chain. He has a lot of ability to chain to multiple targets. And at the same time, he can taunt enemies. And that means that he can draw their fire. When he attacks them, then enemies target Wolverine after that. And that's great because Wolverine has the ability to regenerate health. He's very low on health here. Garth, you doing okay, bud?
That seems a little berserk. I'm gonna get some life steal on there if you want to mention that.
Well, that's fine.
I believe in you, Garth, but you can do this.
Fine. As you can see, Sabretooth, huge health bar.
Heavy hitter.
He's a
Heavy hitter.
He's a chunky boy.
And so, that's good. Wolverine has got some life.
Off he goes. Just Bob the Hydra soldier, off he goes, flying. I hope Bob the Hydra. If they do Deadpool, which I doubt, I honestly doubt. I feel like they would have put him out in the front of the game if he was in the game. But I hope they do Bob, because Bob is like one of the best secondary characters in the Deadpool mythos.
Sent that guy to the moon. But yeah, this is the problem with Sabretooth, right? Is that he just doesn't stop, and this matches how he is in the comics as well. Like Sabretooth doesn't stop, you know?
Yep.
So you have to always kind of be on your toes here.
Alright, what are we doing, Garth? Like,
We got him.
we got him? Okay, alright, okay.
I'm actually going to.
You can position yourself, use the environment.
Okay. Right?
One thing that's worth pointing out is that as you move, you can continue to move until you use this ability, right? And so you can position yourself just perfectly. Until you use an ability, you can continue to move around the map.
And you know, the movement balance is one of my favorite parts as movement. If you play
I love the ability to use the environment. It's gonna make this game very interesting.
tactics, you know how critical it is. But it's this wonderful balance of you can choose to play more methodically and find that single precise movement position to take advantage of the enemies, but it's not every single turn, every single action to make that decision.
Can't heal.
Great. I don't know why, but it just makes me think of fucking. What? It's Heavy Rain, but I don't remember exactly what the Sean. Creed.
Can't heal.
Creed.
Keep going.
He dead? Oh no, he not dead. This is where the fallen thing comes into play. I do like the Sabretooth design. It's comic accurate, but not, you know, like terribly bad. Hello.
You'll do.
Nicely. Oh. They're not gonna show it
Alright,
anymore.
so we saw a lot of good gameplay, a lot of good ability. It's just like amazing gameplay, of course. But this isn't just it, right, Garth? There's still a whole nother section to it.
There's a whole other section.
It is enormous. It is incredibly exciting. Again, we love tactics games, and
I can tell.
changing what we did with the tactics design there wasn't enough. We wanted a whole other half of the game that was the RPG part of the tactics RPG. So we're going back to the Abbey now, and we're going to show you guys a little bit of a gameplay tease with what you can do within the Abbey.
All
And we're
right.
going to start in the Hunter's Quarters.
Alright, let's do it.
Alright. Well,
You can do an enormous amount. Obviously, after a hard day's work, you want to go back to your place of refuge.
Right, you're wearing casual
course.
clothes, right? Oh, many outfits. We actually have a lot of outfits that,
And look at this room. It looks like some decorating could be done. Can you do decorating?
Joe. Yeah, you gotta update the room. And yeah, there's ways to update not just the character, the room as well. There's your beloved,
Of course, Charlie.
right, your beloved Hellhound Charlie, who loves you so much. You can, of course, pet the dog, and there's a lot of benefits to that as well.
benefits.
Are we going to be able to explore that a little bit more?
Oh, something else I noticed. Now that it's nighttime, they also now have what phase the moon's in. I wonder how important that's going to be.
We are, and in fact, what's happening right now is the hunter walking out into the common room after combat, and so again, this is really a social experience where after combat, all these heroes are hanging out, and you can choose from different heroes after combat to hang out with, and this is an important part of building a relationship.
It is.
This is an important different heroes after combat to hang out with, and this is after combat, all these heroes are hanging out, and you can choose.
Oh, it's Nico. Okay. I was wondering.
From different heroes after combat to hang out with, and this is an important part of building a relationship.
It is. It's one of my favorite parts of the game. Not only do you have fun in combat, you come back, and you have a very, very important choice to make, which is a whole other part of the Marvel fantasy, right? It's not just battling amongst these heroes. It's who do you want to hang out with, Nico Morono or Iron Man, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of benefit to this, right? There's not just a narrative benefit as they commiserate over their terrible parents. Oh, my dad's not watching, because I can commiserate with them as well. But yeah, then in addition to hanging out with heroes, you obviously get to have a deeper experience talking to different characters around the Abbey.
And see, this is another thing. I have a suspicion that Scarlet Witch is going to be one of the playable characters, because right here it mentions Wanda's powers, and there's like one major Wanda in the Marvel Universe, and that's Wanda Maximoff, that's Scarlet Witch. Now, I mean, it could just be referring to a completely new character just named Wanda, but I mean, you know, I don't think so.
We're kind of alluding here, like your dialogue choices can affect the 100 balance as well.
I mean, it's an RPG. There's branching dialogue choices here.
Right.
You mentioned the light-dark balance, the role-playing portion of how you want to craft.
And
your
then right
hunter.
there where it says her current state, and then Agatha, is that referring to Agatha Harkness? I don't know.
And their personality is incredibly compelling. And you'll be able to do that in spades in the Abbey. Uh-oh, what are we doing here, Caroline? You love the dog?
I do.
You love your dog?
I mean, it looks like it.
Dog can walk.
The dog's walking, leading me somewhere special. Hey, where are we going?
So, this is just one of the many things that happens on the Abbey grounds. So the Abbey grounds are very extensive, which you can explore, and you should. And this is a lot of really interesting optional content that the player can come out here, explore the grounds, uncover.
I assume that those mushrooms are going to be pertinent for the crafting situation.
A lot more narrative, a lot more gameplay, and so again, we wanted this to feel like a living space, and so it's not just the interior of the Abbey, it's the exterior grounds as well. That feel, appropriately supernatural based on our
Again, you think of the world of Marvel. It's not enough to just have a series of menus in between missions or a base that doesn't have a lot of content and substance to it. And the grounds really act as that, since they're overloaded with secrets and mysteries and deep, deep lore to learn more, even in other corners of Marvel that you may be surprised about.
They're not wrong. That's one of the best parts about Marvel.
Background of the Hunter and Caretaker and other characters.
Right. And there's so much more that we would love to show you.
Keep going. Can we keep going?
And we will. There's so much more to show you, and we will. Very
And that does look like Agatha Harkness, at least the comics version of her.
soon.
All right.
All right, well, there you have it, guys. We have a little bit of gameplay, a little bit of Abby, a lot of combat that's coming up as well. What's coming up, guys, in October, coming months?
A lot. So we want to dive deep on some of the characters, like start to show more about these characters, and then show more gameplay. Just hinted at it with the combat and the Abby, so we want to show more of that in the coming months.
Awesome. Well, I'm pretty sure everyone's looking forward to it. Thank you so much, guys, both Jake and Garth, for joining us today and showing our fans, of course.
Well, thanks for being with us.
Yep, absolutely.
Remember to give us a follow. Also, sign up.
Hashtag Darkness Falls, rise up. Any more dates? March 2022, be prepared. Darkness Falls, rise up.
Get you hyped. Salty. Come on.
No, but we need the hypeness, of course. Like,
Come on.
I'm sorry, I get excited. I get very excited.
Alright, that was the Marvel Midnight Sun gameplay presentation. Very, very cool. I'm very excited for this game. So, if you guys are just as excited, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you want me to do next, if there's any other games you think I might be interested in checking out, such and such. Email me for business inquiries. Follow me on Twitter. Follow the Politics channel. All of that jazz. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao, you beautiful motherfuckers.